And
Okay.
thank you so much for joining me today here. I'm Sydney. I will be your little interviewer for today. If you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jason, and I make music under the name Michigander.
All right. Let's just jump right into it. So I know you grew up in Michigan, and then for a while you did live in the Kalamazoo area, which is where we're based here at 89.1 WIDR FM. So how did your time in Kalamazoo kind of affect your sound and your writing?
Totally. Kalamazoo is the only reason Michigander exists, and I'm not just saying that. Band, making music and starting the band is like all happened in Kalamazoo. It was like the best time of my life living there on ML Street, towards out past Sprinkle Road. Yeah, I lived out there for so long and like made most of the music that's out there. I like started writing it or making it in Kalamazoo. Yeah, it's like the spiritual home of the band.
That's awesome. So now you moved to Nashville a couple years ago, correct? So how is that?
Well, I
No,
lived in
I'm sorry.
Detroit for a little bit, and now I live here in Nashville. I've lived here for a year as of like last week.
Oh, exciting. How has that
Yeah.
kind of changed the sound or your writing at all? Has it? Or
Yeah, the cool thing about being here is there's so many other people doing what I'm doing at a higher level than what I'm doing. So I have all these people that I can like look up to and like ask advice from and learn from. And they're like also at the same time really humble and like collaborative. So it's cool to like get in the room with some of these artists that I like have looked up to, and then I get to like maybe write a song with them. And then and they've taught me how to be a better musician, songwriter, and even an overall better person.
that's awesome. What's like an artist whom you would like most want to collaborate with if you got the chance?
I'd love to write or like work on a song with Matt Berninger from the National. The
Okay.
National are my favorite band, and that would be really really cool to do something with them. That'd be awesome.
That would be really cool. So I know in some different interviews and things, you said you consider yourself a live band and you love touring. I know you just did some performances in Austin, correct?
Yeah, last week.
So how has it kind of been getting ready to tour again? Because you were ready to go and then you broke your leg, unfortunately. So how has that kind of transition been for you?
Um, well, it was really sad because I was gearing up for this big tour, and then I played like my first shows back last weekend in Austin, and then our tour for the headline tour from coast to coast starts next week in Phoenix. So I'm really excited to like get out there in the van and get back at it, and try to figure it out again and get back on the saddle.
Get back in the
It was
swing
really
of things.
Yeah, it was awesome to play in Austin for South by. I played like so many shows in such a short period of time. It was kind of like the training for the tour. So yeah, we've never sounded better. The band is firing on all cylinders.
That's so exciting. What song? So you have a new EP coming out March
Yeah.
31st. So what song off the EP were you most excited for people to hear? Or if you haven't played it yet, what song are you most excited to perform live for everybody?
There's a song called Cannonball, and I wrote that song with Chris Caraba from Dashboard Confessional.
Okay.
And we that song is coming out next week, I guess. The whole EP comes out next week, which is crazy.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's my favorite song. We got to play that live last week, and I'm really glad we did because it just feels really fun to play a song like that live.
No, I'm super excited to hear it. You said I'm sorry, what was the name?
It's called Cannonball.
Cannonball? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to give it a listen. What's the best piece of advice another musician has given you about the industry or even not in the industry, just about life?
A friend of mine recently told me, he's like, your career is like a campfire, and you need to like keep the fire going by putting in the right amount of wood and paper and whatever, to start a fire. But you don't want to throw on too big of a log until you're ready. So you don't want to. So just because your fire is going doesn't mean you're ready for like the big things yet. No, like you have to wait, and you have to like tend to the fire and build the fire before you throw the big one on, and then otherwise the big log's just gonna make the fire go out. So he told me that last week. That's a pretty good analogy
That's,
of a
yeah.
career in the music business, because sometimes you can just like pop really quick and not know what to do with it, and then you fizzle out. So yeah, that's some good advice
About
I got
finding that
recently.
balance.
Totally, yeah, totally.
So I think I read somewhere that you're into video games, but is there
Yes.
anything else you like to do in your free time, kind of not related to music, just kind of for fun?
Just video games. That's it. I wish there was other things, but I
What
just
kind of
play
games do you like to
Fortnite
play? Fortnite? Okay.
and Call of Duty, and I only play with my friends. I don't play by myself. That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Those are some good choices. So,
Yeah.
have fans ever misinterpreted any of your songs? And if so, which one or ones?
I don't really. The cool thing about writing songs is sometimes the artists themselves don't know what the song's about, and they just have this feeling of what the song is, and maybe over time the song kind of changes the meaning for you. And I've like had that experience definitely. But one funny story I guess is I have a song called East Chicago, which is probably my favorite song I've ever made, and someone a friend of mine he heard it, he texted me, he says, "Is this about me?" And I said, "No, it's not actually, but good try." So maybe I guess some friends have misinterpreted songs and asked if they're about them. But usually if I write a song about somebody, I tell them it's about them
That's probably the way to
before
do
it gets
it.
released. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny though. I guess kind of going off that, do you have any especially funny concert related stories?
One time we played the show in it's called Eureka Springs, Arkansas. It's the middle of nowhere. It's like a town in the mountains. It was really tiny. And it was the worst show we ever played. And apparently the owner is buried underneath the stage.
Oh, I don't think I like that.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. I just be on that stage for an hour. That was one of the weirdest shows we ever played. That's my funniest story, I guess.
That
Show.
I don't know about funny, creepy
It's
maybe.
not funny.
No.
The funny one, we were on tour with Manchester Orchestra, and we played in Austin, Texas at Stubbs. And during the guitar solo, I felt really cool. And I'm not a cool person at all,
I
but I
think you're
felt
kind
cool
of cool.
well, thanks, Sydney. But for a moment, I felt cool, and I tripped and fell on my
Oh.
back. So that's pretty funny. And there's a video of that
See,
somewhere.
that sounds terrible though. That doesn't sound funny either.
It was funny.
Okay.
We got back up and we just kept going. We didn't skip a beat.
Oh, okay. A
Yeah.
performer.
It was a
So
rock and roll, yeah.
but thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Totally.
Make sure you listen to Michigander's new EP, It Will Never Be the Same, out March 31st. And then make sure you join me in Detroit at St. Andrew's Hall, April 15th, to hear everything live.
I'm so excited. Glad you're gonna be there.
Me too. Had the tickets for a while now, so I'm ready to
Oh, cool.
get into it. Is there anything else you
And
wanted to add?
No, thanks for caring. I love WIDR. I always listened to WIDR when I lived in Kalamazoo. So it's always great to talk to somebody over there.
Thank you for your support and for coming on this interview with me. It's been a
Totally.
great time.
Totally. Thank you.
You are listening to 89.1 WIDR FM, your source for radio evolution.